Some people get really anal about their coffee. They don't like using cheap coffee. They pretty much grind the beans themselves, and they don't like using those Keurig cups. I'm one of those people. Today we're gonna learn you how to make something I like to call the nectar of the gods. Ready? Let's brew. The first step we're gonna do is we're gonna get a Keurig pod and a machine and throw them away, because we both know that they produce pretty garbage coffee. Making good coffee is actually a lot about the coffee that you use, a lot about the method that you use. If your method is impeccable, but you're using pre-ground trash coffee, then you'll have a perfectly good garbage cup of coffee. That's all there is to it, actually. I like to make mine in a Hario V60 pour over cone and a little cup. So a couple pieces of equipment that we're gonna need before we start, and I know it might sound a little anal, but we're gonna need, most importantly, a scale. Pick it up wherever. Whole ground coffee beans. As you can see, this one's labeled because this one's mine. A grinder for coffee. I mean, you can pretty much grind whatever you want in this. This has only been used for coffee, I swear. A little pour over, a mug. And a filter. Now, a lot of people use paper filters, but I found this cloth filter that I can reuse a bunch of times and just sort of wash, let it dry, and then reuse again. So, you know, good investment. Okay. So first things first, what we're gonna do is measure out 21 grams of coffee beans. And I know this might sound like kind of weird that you're measuring it out, but trust me, once you get the right ratio. So once we measured out 21 grams of coffee, we're gonna go ahead and put it into our grinder. So unfortunately my grinder doesn't have enough cordage so that I can film it and grind at the same time, but I mean, look, you grind it up into what people call the texture of like coarse sand, I guess. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna go ahead and pour our coffee grounds into our ceramic pour over, and then with your finger or with like a tiny little spoon, you're gonna go ahead and put a divot in the middle, and we're just gonna wait for our water to start boiling. So now our water is boiling, and we're gonna do something that is called blooming the coffee. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get the kettle and pour just a little bit so that we can get the grounds all wet. And we're gonna let this go for 30 seconds max. And if you can see, all the bubbles are starting to form, releasing a bunch of that gas. And they do a hard bloom. Honestly, I have no idea, but they do the hard bloom because they say it makes the coffee taste better and gets it prepped for the real shebang, you know? So this one, we're gonna let go for a maximum 30 seconds. Okay, and then once that's done, we can go ahead and start our brew process. So what the grams that we're aiming for here is about 352. And if you can see what I'm doing it super slowly. If you have one of those long gooseneck kettles, that works so much better, but I don't. So we're just gonna start to pulse this a little bit and go relatively slow, because you know we don't want to mess anything up. And the grams we're going for is about 352. You know, 21 grams of coffee times 16, 1:16 ratio, 352. You get it. And then a lot of people say, oh, how do you have enough time in the morning to measure everything out and count and time it? So we have technology, baby. You know, I personally have all the ratios written down in my notes app, and then all the times that I need to use it for also. So yeah, now we just sort of wait here, and when I'm doing it, I kind of like to meditate, think about where my life's going. And my morning starts with this cup of coffee. And really, it's 2 in the afternoon, and I just woke up, and it's my first cup of coffee of the day, and I'm actually really excited. I mean, I personally like using the pour over method because it forces me to slow down a little bit. You know, a lot of the times we're rushing to get out the door, but if you can spare yourself a couple of minutes to, and it didn't even take that long, it takes like 3 minutes, which is around the same time as a regular coffee maker. So I mean, it just takes a little more work and it's the same amount of time, and it gets you a really great cup of coffee, let me tell you. So that's the reason that I use it, and since, well, we're in quarantine right now, I have nothing but time to do, you know. And I guess one of the most important parts about drinking coffee is to drink it from a mug that you like. For me, that's a white mug here that has a K on it, because I'm Kuhlata, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're asking how I like to drink my coffee, well, let me tell you, I like to drink my coffee like I like my women, you know. Bold and full of character. It's really hot also, so I kind of just burned my tongue. But I mean, flavor is delicious. Yeah, so I hope this is a somewhat helpful guide on how to make a really good cup of coffee in the morning. Enjoy.